previous very quick mini stream of me coming back to the Hunter's Dream and really doing nothing, I wanted to try and do a trick where basically I go fiddled around in the PS4 options in order to basically get the game to not save. But the more I looked into it, it's one of those, it just seemed it seemed overly complicated and something that I didn't want to risk. And I've also read that people that did try this, it did not work for them, and they ended up losing their game and everything. So, fuck it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna do the complete true ending, and then experiment with this when I do like a new game plus, and if I so choose, I will stream those endings maybe. I don't know. Honestly, I pretty much wanted to do the complete true ending anyway. And I honestly don't want to sabotage myself on the very off chance that this may not work and I'll just end up losing everything and in so doing waste my time, and I don't want to risk it. I'm just going to do the complete third ending and leave it at that.
Gammon awaits you at the foot of the great tree. Go on, good hunter.
Yup. He's out there. Yeah, I know I sound defeatist for not trying it, but I look at all the instructions and all that, and I'm just like, I don't know if this will work. And some people said that they tried it, it didn't work, and I'd rather not be in the latter of those people, if you get what I mean. It's one of those things where, honestly, I'd rather speed through the game a second time than honestly put in all these hours of work into this game only to and end up fucking myself. I'd rather not do that. So, third ending, and then I'm on my downtime. I'll new game plus my way through it and get to the ending and do the last two. So yeah, the workshop's burning. Repair my cleaver. Didn't really use it that much on Marigo's wet nurse. I know I defeat Gehrman, and then I defeat the true final boss of the game. And I think I heard Mom come home, so I want to start the fight and everything until after she comes in, so that way there's no interrupting or anything. The back gate's now open. Yup. But yeah, we've had a long journey with this game, haven't we? I've gone through trials and tribulations, the likes of which I have not experienced in a long time. A long, long time. Because this is one of those games that definitely tested my mettle in more ways than one. Blood vial, visceral, yup, all that checks out. Only weapon left, I think, is the scythe. I like this house, honestly. It's grown on me. Yep, they gotten everything except one weapon. Where's health? 1. Let me double check. I got this. Got that. Coast Parasite. I already have a blunderbuss. Don't know why it's saying 0. Maybe because I never bought it. No, I have it. Oh, it's upgraded. That's why it says it's not showing. I don't have the base model. Is Mom home yet?
Gammon awaits you. Go on, good hunter. I sense the ancient echo.
That's it.
Farewell, good hunter.
Oh, hi, John. Huh? It's good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to stream the last ending right here, but I wanna do it with like very little noise as possible. But anyway, thank you for joining. So, okay, where's the... There it is. 3, so I can initiate the final true boss after I defeat Garamond. You played this game already before, right, John?
Oh man,
Huh?
I did at least 5 playthroughs.
Oh.
I'm a Souls and
Yeah, this is my first time playing any of the From Software Souls games. I've only played Armored Core before this.
yeah, similar feel to the game.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more like knights, dragons, kind of.
Yup.
But Bloodborne definitely, I love the setting.
Oh yeah, it's.
Combat's very unique.
I like the gothic Victorian look. That's what appealed to me about it. All right, a lot of white flowers. I feel like I'm visiting retreaded territory because this was in Nier Automata. Funny how that works. Ugh. There's old man Garamond. So.
Good hunter, you've done well. The night is near its end. Now, I will show you mercy. You will die, forget the dream, and awake under the morning sun. You will be freed from this terrible hunter's dream.
Refuse. Uh-oh.
Dear, oh dear. What was it? The hunt? The blood? Or the horrible dream?
Neither. Just completionist.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It always comes down to the hunter's helper to clean up after these sorts of messes.
So, this has happened before. Uh-oh.
Tonight, Gammon joins the hunt.
Master versus the student. fast. No, 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 no. Well, it doesn't hit as hard as Canehurst Hunter did, that's for sure. Sorry, old man. Old Hunter badge. Uh-oh. The moon presence. How does that thing even stand with all of its backbone exposed? Oh, crap. You got a face only a mother could love. Yeah. Now I can let it kill me so I can get the sight, right? Yup, died. So, okay then. Can I get the scythe? The DLC. Burial blade. There it is. 60,000. Burial blade. Hunter's Essence trophy. I got it. I got it. Let's take a look at this thing. Whoa, it looks wicked. Oh ho ho. Grim Reaper, man. Lady Death in the house. I'm gonna level this thing up right now. Ah, I need bloodstone shards, but it's okay. I got it. That's all that matters. Back to moon presence again. Oh wait, that was the moon flash thing, right? Shit. Come on, give me help. It's not working. Whoa, what do you like that? I killed it. I didn't even need to recharge my health. Wow. I half expected it to come and kill me, but it never did. Oh, come on. I've been turned into a worm.
Are you cold?
Ew.
Oh, good hunter.
So, I guess I'm gonna have to call, the plain doll Mom until I've reached adulthood again. Childhood's beginning. Wow. Well, damn. So... yeah. That is Bloodborne. With the true ending. I kill the being responsible for the hunter's dream, and I become a god in its place. And since that's supposed to be the true ending, it kind of leaves me wondering what they're gonna do if they do another Bloodborne game. It leaves one to wonder. I personally liked more wrapped up endings, but hey, I'll take what I can get. So, Bloodborne, my first From Software completed game that isn't Armored Core. Come to think of it, I need to play the other ones now I think about it. But yeah, first one, and by extension the first Souls-style From Software game. I confess, when Demon Souls and Dark Souls came out, you know, those games weren't exactly my cup of Drano, even at the height of their peak. But then when Bloodborne came out, I honestly was intrigued because I loved this gothic Victorian style they went with. Kind of gave me Hellsing or Devil May Cry like vibes, only bloodier. Well, bloody in terms of Hellsing anyway, because oh my god, the blood in that anime is in tidal waves. But yeah, that's what attracted to me, and of course, bit of overview. I did first try this game way back in the day. But I wasn't too comfortable with the controls, nor did I like them at the time. Then God of War 4 came out not long ago, and in a sense, that game got me used to it. And coming into Bloodborne, it came much more naturally. So I was able to very quickly learn how the game flowed, and I had a lot of blast with it. I had a lot of fun with it. I had a blast with it. What I liked, of course, is the art, is the visual style. I like that there's a very high amount of variety in both, not just in normal enemies, but also bosses. I love the overall style of everything and the variety of weapons. I love how the weapon variations too. They kind of pseudo remind me of Monster Hunter's weapons in terms of, or at least some of the weapons in that series, because the weapons in this game all have this transformation gimmick, which I really like as it mixes things up a bit. Granted, I had my personal pool of weapons that I preferred using, the Saw Cleaver and the Ludwig Sword, and the Moonlight Sword, more out of everything else in the game. And there were a few that I did try out and experimented with. But overall, those are my 3 main weapons that I've used. But I do plan to go back and play the game again for New Game Plus, not just to get the endings, but also to experiment with the other weapons more, because there were some that I actually liked. The Scythe, I liked the flow and look of. I liked the Church Pick. The Bloodletter, I think, looks very cool. So there's definitely a lot of replay value in Bloodborne. There really is. And the combat, when it works for the most part, feels very good. Again, the controls do seem awkward if you're a first timer like me, because me personally, I prefer most of my action games with, using, X, square, triangle, circle, or if you're using Xbox, A, B, X, Y, instead of using triggers, because triggers you think you normally for shooter games, right? So it did feel a bit of a stretch at first. The music is very good. For the most part, when you're exploring all over the game, there's really no music to speak of, but the boss themes are where the soundtrack definitely hits the mark. I really do like the music themes. It kind of reminds me a bit of a little bit of old God of War style music, maybe a little bit of Lord of the Rings here and there. The Lovecraftian style certainly adds to it. It really does. So, variety of weapons, variety of the bosses. I really love the level design. The levels in Bloodborne are very masterfully designed. You go into the mouth of hell. You go look at all these different labs and libraries and alleyways, and you find a very masterfully put together area that takes you back to where you were, with very cool, well done shortcuts. There are some levels where it is a bit easy to get lost, especially if you don't know where you're going. And there are a lot of, and I mean a lot of, forks in the road in this game. Uh-oh, what's going on?
Good.
New Game Plus.
Sealed. Now, let's begin the transfusion. Oh, don't you worry.
I'm in my hunter clothes.
Whatever happens, you may think it all a mere bad dream.
Yes. Okay then. New Game Plus. Doing this again, eh? And from what I've heard, New Game Plus is supposed to be harder than the normal game. It kind of goes like Devil May Cry-ish, where in the original DMC, there was no level difficulty change. The only way you could get other difficulties is if you beat the game, normal, then hard, then very hard, and so on. They didn't do that until the later games, and this game pretty much does that too. no easy mode. You can't even die to get easy mode. And if you're aiming to use the same character with all the stuff you've gotten, oh no, vagina face again. Yeah, if you mean to use your same character with all your stuff, you kind of have to play New Game Plus with harder difficulty.
You found yourself a hunter.
Hey, Sofka's clinic, where it all started. But, yeah. Enough of that. So, yeah, aesthetically, everything looks great. The variety of the game looks great. Again, the dungeons, for the most part, are all pretty varied in look and theme. And it is satisfying find that one area that leads you back to where you came from, so you don't have to slog through everything all over again. Because it is kind of a double-edged sword. On one hand, going back to fight everything, you can grind for more points. But on the other hand, if you're not careful, especially in the beginnings of your first time playing the game, it is so easy to die and die a lot. And believe me, I most certainly did. I'm sorry, but the game gets easier as you play, and you know it's punishing even throughout, especially if you go into everything else, whether it be the Chalice dungeons, the DLC, the Old Hunters DLC. Don't matter. You'll die and die a lot regardless. And yeah, I like that you have a bit of a mix of firearms and blades. Firearms is mostly for parrying. Doing visceral attacks is very satisfying. I love doing them. The only thing I wish made them better was if, depending on what weapon you have equipped and you do a visceral attack, the character would do like a special animation with that specific weapon. Like, oh, I visceral attacked a monster with the saw cleaver. He'll, like, saw his face in or something, or hell, you use the Ludwig sword. He'll shove that thing into his throat, like into his throat or something. You know what I mean? I can't imagine really the hunter using his or her bare hands to do an even more powerful attack. It just seems silly to me. Especially when that's the hand she's using her main weapon with. But all the same, the combat is very satisfying. I like it, despite how awkward it is at times. I do kind of want to try other Souls-style games, Dark Souls especially. The one that I really want to try next is Nioh. That one has been on my radar for a while. Now, as for what I thought could have been better, or things that I didn't like in Bloodborne, well, for one thing, well, first let's get the bit of I'm in the middle. For instance, the story. The story is, unless you're paying attention, like with a microscope, is incorporeal. You're not told anything in this game. On one hand, I like that it is show and not tell, because the game is loaded with visual storytelling all over the place, which kind of leaves you to use your imagination. Like a visual version of radio, almost. And I like that, I respect that. But on the other hand, the game, because it also does not tell anything, kind of leaves you floundering as to what the heck is going on and what everything even means. So if you're like me and you like more just as much direction in your storytelling, other than just using the old noodle, you're gonna be a bit flabbergasted, because honestly, I think Doom did this style, the new one, Doom 2016. I think that game, in my opinion, did the whole minimalist storytelling a little bit better. Yeah, the main character doesn't speak, and outside and other characters do most of the talking. But here's a thing that Doom had that Bloodborne doesn't: a codex to supplement all of that. Like, you're curious about this monster, about this person you ran into, here's a biography of him. You're curious about the significance of this monster that you just slayed. Oh, here's a codex entry unlocked as a reward for beating him that tells you more background about that. There is no such thing in this game. The closest you have are just the item descriptions, which are nice, I admit. But beyond that, you're gonna be more... If you're really curious about the fine details, you're going to be going off to a Bloodborne wiki or some shit just to even get the hairest detail as to what the hell is going on. Some will don't... some don't like that, others are fine with it. I'm in the middle. I personally wish there was a bit more detail in it. A little more than just, oh, you're a hunter, go kill monsters. No, give me a reason. Why am I doing this? I do like the overall tale of what they were trying to tell. I really do. But I think it needed a little bit more. I had heard comparisons with Final Fantasy XIII's abominable story, how that game was pretty much just nothing but jargon encyclopedias being thrown at you while the characters did nothing but talk ceaselessly about nothing. I actually think this is the complete opposite. Final Fantasy XIII said so much, yet at the same time said absolutely nothing. There was no substance to that game's story. Whereas in this game, there's clearly a story in there, an idea and concept put in there. The problem is it's buried somewhere. And that's kind of my issue. If I have to go online somewhere to make sense of something that I'm missing, then your story is not being told well enough to, be understood. But at the same time, I do admire what it tried to do with that minimalist effort. I personally think Doom 4 did it better, but overall, I don't mind the story of Bloodborne. I like it. I just wish it wasn't as incorporeal as it is. That's just my shtick with it. But I do appreciate all the visual elements thrown here and there that kind of acts like a breadcrumb trail. Make that, again, with imagination, you kind of figure it out yourself as you go along. So in a way, I both admire it and yet kind of wish there was more at the same time. That's my personal beef with it, but it's still enjoyable nonetheless. Again, the visuals are great and all. The problem I do have, however, is Bloodborne's frame rate. There are so many times where the frame rate drops to like 10 frames per second and it looks awful. Like, I hesitate to even call it a next-gen game. Because of such a blatant issue. And I wish I could leave it there, but while all the monsters look and environments look breathtaking, I'm not too much of a fan of the character models, especially the human ones. Ones mostly because outside of the cutscenes, their mouths are evidently wired the fuck shut when they're speaking in-game, not in the cutscenes, of course, I mean to say. And the player models just look homely. Like, I don't even want to look at them for too long. This kind of goes into my problem with the customization, with the character creation. I don't hate the character creation, but I find it a little too limited. Like, there's eye choices that are like, what, 3? There's only like 3 makes facial scar tattoo choices. There's really nothing for either of those. The only things that honestly have the most variety is what color your skin and eyes and your eyes and hair and skin can be. That's really it. I personally think that the character models could have been done better, especially for the player character, because, you know, I fiddled with that for like what must have been like 20, maybe 30 or 40 minutes, trying to find the happy balance with the character I wanted to create. And regardless of what direction a meter I put, there was barely any difference. All I saw was the same overbite character model, regardless of what color the hair and skin was. And I've honestly played games that had better custom character creation. Monster Hunter World's character creation far superior than Bloodborne's. It really is way better. The character models look way better, and you can actually tell the differences in how you look. Dragon Age Origin and even the 3 Mass Effect games, in my opinion, had a good character creation. Not just in terms, both 1 for variety and 2, you actually see differences and they become noticeable. Whereas with this game, I don't see much other than color of skin and hair and eyes. There's really no difference. It's like the model is perpetually glued to being one shape, and there's not much you can do about it. As for everything else, I do love the armor and costumes that you get throughout the game. I really do love them. The trench coats, the different pants and gloves you get. I love the hunter outfit with the ripped tricorn hat. I love that one, especially the ones that you get afterwards that are better variants. I loved the crow armor. I really do also like the side quests as well. They were like little stories within themselves. I also wish that the game had a map. Once you do explore the game, get deeper into the game, it's not too hard to navigate. But there were times where I do wish there was a map in the game so I could tell where I was going. Kind of like how Doom had it, where, you know, if you find the secret room with the map in it, boom, you get the map. You found it. There's your reward, so you can now navigate through everything. It doesn't hurt the game. It's just my little personal thing. It's not a big negative, but there are so many forks in the road that you can go off the beaten path without even knowing what you're supposed to be doing, and either end up in an area you wanted to go or end up in an area you did not want to go. And the bosses, for the most part, I like them a lot. They require a lot of forethought into what you're doing, what stuff you bring with you, and how to best avoid and counter them. Where I do have a problem is that some of the very, very cheap barely do anything against them. And that does ruin the enjoyment a bit. Like the abhorrent beast and how it rails on you all the time. Now, some bosses are not meant to be fought as early as I fought some of them, like Dark Beast Parl. I tried fighting him way early in the game, and I could not defeat him at any point throughout that time in the game. I came back later, and much to my surprise, I was able to kill him quite easily. Way easily than I ever tried before. So, in a lot of ways, bosses that are not that are hard are not meant to be fought immediately. They're meant to be fought later. But even ones that I did fight later did end up being a nuisance. Like that one headless bloodletting beast, I hated him. And there are some enemies in the game that are just ridiculous, like the shark giants in the fishing hamlet in the Old Hunters DLCs. And, oh, half the bosses in that DLC are insane. Like, I like some of them, hate the other ones. Granted, I can say that for pretty much the entirety of the game itself, but... no game's perfect, right? And yeah, for a lot of the times, there were many points where I wanted to break out and kiss this game, because there's a lot of things I love about it. But there are some, of course, some little things here and there that I've mentioned that, in my opinion, hurt the game a bit. And that there could have been room for improvement. But for the most part, I think the game is still very fun. And I do recommend it, especially if you're curious about Souls-style action games by From Software themselves. And I honestly would not mind a sequel to Bloodborne. If anything, I actually want a sequel. You know, what could they do after this? I mean, as far as I know, Yharnam's is, for all intents and purposes, down to population 0. So it leaves me wondering what they can do at this point. But all my little gripes aside, Bloodborne pretty much succeeds in what it is in its basic goal tries to do, to be a gothic Lovecraftian dungeon crawler that is riddled with visual storytelling and visual minimalistic storytelling and atmosphere. I also think, and if that's what you are looking for in a game like this, then by God, the game nails that. Another thing, I think the enemies, aren't terribly smart. I think they kind of, From Software, went with a stack the deck approach, where they just throw them at you to mob you. Not the smartest nor the dumbest enemies, in my opinion, but they're pretty fun. Cheap, but fun sometimes, but fun sometimes. So... Hey, you're home? Mom just got home. So, yeah, Bloodborne. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I honestly think I will go and try New Game Plus in between other games, in my downtime. And I don't know. I thought of doing that little options trick with the save system and all, but again, it just seems too overcomplicated to me. Again, autism, some things just come across as being, nonsensical to me, and I get stressed out. And I didn't want to risk losing anything. So if anything, I'm gonna do a New Game Plus and play the game on my off time, as I go through every other games in my backlog, and do the endings as I come across them. So yeah, true ending, complete playthrough. I only just have those 2 ending trophies. That's it. Rest assured, I'm pretty much go for platinuming at this point. So, all that said, Bloodborne, for the most part, 2 endings aside, is good and done. I'm happy that I finally got to play this game in full myself. And special thanks to everyone that contributed to the stream over the last couple of weeks. My friend Judy Ortiz, you've been very helpful. I thank you for all your help. And thank you to everyone else that also contributed along with her throughout my dark little journey throughout the alleyways of this game. And I despite my blundering and complaining here and there, I do give the Bloodborne a solid recommendation. By all means, if you haven't played it yet, go out and get it. It's $20 now, and plunge into the depths of Yarnum Well. I'm about to leave at Alex. Thank you all for watching, and God's sucking speed, and may the good blood guide your way. Peace out, y'all.